Welcome back, everybody, for another edition of the Club Cool podcast. I am your host, Barrett Dudley. I am joined by Phil Battaglia. Phil, what's good?
Hey, Barrett.
Hey, we are here in the lodge, brought to you by Washed Media, on a Monday. Monday, going fishing in a Hemi Dodge Ram.
What is that?
You don't remember those commercials?
No. Is that one of their...
That's like 5 years ago.
Damn.
Monday, going fishing in a Hemi Dodge Ram. No, that's one of those
that
ones
didn't
that just
resonate for me.
Seared into my brain. Monday, new time slot for Club Cool. This is week 2 of the Mondays. Mm-hmm. Do you? I mean, I don't even get cases of the Mondays anymore. Really.
To be honest with you, I barely knew that it was a Monday.
Yeah.
I texted you this morning just making sure.
My Sunday scaries really they've completely evaporated. I wonder if this is affecting Will's brand at all.
That's a good question.
No, I just have like generally more scaries, just overall more scaries.
It lasts throughout the week.
But it's just like the same kind of every day. So it's just like the weekly scaries at a lower clip, but a higher clip, but just not. It doesn't peak on Sundays.
He may need to consider rebranding just
to weekly scaries
throughout this pandemic.
Yes. Today we got a little pandemic talk, but we're going to focus on a brighter side. Well, sort of brighter. I don't know. We'll see. What type of music we've been listening to? If our habits have changed at all because of the change in lifestyle or because of doing things differently now. And then, man, it's officially drop season here. This week kicks it off. We've got fall, winter stuff coming this week. And it's couldn't come soon enough.
Yeah,
because I can only. It's kind of a bittersweet thing, right? Because we still are dealing with like 109-degree temperatures. So there's no getting kits off right now. We can't really start dressing until the weather cools down.
Correct.
So it's always nice to see the fall winter stuff start coming through the pipeline. We're dreaming of the sugar plums at night, and that's the good stuff. A lot of brands really shine in fall winter because you have the ability. There's so much more you can layer. There's knits, there's pants, there's boots, there's caps. There's just a lot more things to pile on. Now we don't get a ton of opportunity to do that, and we'll talk about some of the differences in maybe the way that we shop or approach things over the next couple of months. But first, one thing that I like about the Mondays is that I feel like not only are we looking forward in the week, so instead of kind of recapping the week, we're kind of talking about the week to come. What we do get to recap is the weekend. Did you do anything exciting over the weekend?
We wrapped up the bathroom, but that was, who knows what week that was.
Yeah. Could have been any week.
It could have been. We finished cleaning, and then we went to the store to buy some plants and failed miserably.
Did you go to the Great Outdoors?
Yes.
I've heard that they have banned children from entering the store.
Really?
Yeah.
They've banned pets.
Yeah, okay. Well, children and pets, no, not allowed in this nursery.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. We don't have a child, but we do have a pet who, if we bring out, she's just a terror.
Just a disaster.
Yeah. So
we've been making baby steps with the puppy at home. I held my fantasy draft yesterday.
Did you really?
We had a Sunday evening fantasy draft, which we conducted online via the CBS platform and
auction
draft. Yeah, of course.
Any hiccups?
No. Only a small one, and we did a Zoom at the same time, so that we had like kind of a live element. You could kind of chat with everybody, see what everybody was doing.
That would be a total shit show with our crew. When people chime in, and
there was certainly some overlap. Like when you have like that many people in a Zoom, there's some lag, and it doesn't always go perfectly to plan. Now the only real hiccup is that we have we're an auction league. You have a salary cap. And our roster size is between 14 and 16. But this is such a boring thing to talk about here. So
it's not.
I'll be brief. But like, really, your max bid should only affect whether you can fill 14 slots. But it like automatically goes to the max of 16 slots, and so it kind of messes that up. It's a small hiccup. It's just a thing that we have to deal with when we do when we're forced into an online draft.
So we don't do auction mainly because our league, we've never done it, and starting now, we may. I doubt it though. Not as long as this dude's sitting on the commissioner spot.
No, okay.
This is two commissioners talking.
You've always been against progress.
Correct. Who says an auction league is progress? You.
Yes, an auction league is the only way to do fantasy football.
Okay.
Moving
on.
A
That's
snake
wrong.
Draft is you're just rolling dice.
Good. It's a gamble.
It's just
This is gambling, baby.
It's just luck of the draw.
Good.
It's just like has anybody ever won a fantasy league having the 7th pick in a 12-team league? Probably not.
Possibly. I'll tell you what. I came from way behind to win one year. Way behind.
Yeah.
I don't know what pick I was. Anyway, what's the contingency plan? I'm because I get asked this by the people in the league because I don't know what the fuck to do about this. I'm just assuming that ESPN has this built in. There is a high likelihood that games will be canceled, right?
Sure.
If there's some sort of outbreak and or postponed.
Yeah.
There's also a likelihood that players that you have drafted will drop out.
Yeah. So
then what?
So what we have done. So we have a contingency. We've added a couple of new rules, but they only cover a couple of these bases. If a player gets COVID, we have added a COVID IR slot. You can move that player to the COVID IR position while he is on the COVID IR list, which will probably be 2 to 3 weeks for these guys. So you get the addition. You have the opportunity to replace that player.
You can't just sit him on the bench?
Well, you can, but let's say you get a few. We're treating it differently than just like a regular injury because if a guy gets the flu, he can play. He can play through the flu. But with the COVID, you're forced out, right? If you test positive, you're forced out. So it opens up an additional roster spot.
So did y'all just add an additional roster spot during the draft?
No. This will be because IR is separate from the actual roster. We're a fantasy football podcast now. Anyways, and then we also instituted if the season is cut short, we have a way we'll pay out like 2 teams that are at the top of the power rankings, and that's it.
It's giving me anxiety.
So
all right,
yeah, it's gonna be it'll be an interesting season, but gotta play through the pain.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, who knows? It might just be a total disaster, and nothing happens, and everybody gets their money back. But it was good. It was good to have something to do on a Sunday. Yesterday was just a great sports day in general. Got Dustin Johnson going 30 under
Did he really?
Yeah, at the golf tournament.
Christ.
Had NBA playoff games all day. Had the Indy 500.
I didn't watch much
draft.
of that. Yeah. We're gonna do. I'm trying to finagle a creative cameo. Have you ever done a cameo? Like paid somebody to do one?
I've never done that, but I'm aware of Cameo, yeah.
I want to do that to reveal the draft order.
Okay.
Yeah. And then have a backup video.
Milanakis is on there.
Andy Milanakis?
Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah.
How much is he?
Get him to do like a pee-pee head one or something.
Oh, that would be great. I would think that's funny, and probably 3 other people in the league. I love him.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards Wade Phillips. He's $100.
No, it has to be somebody like that's Wade Phillips. Who cares? Like I know he's
going to be so bad at it that it'll be hilarious. I've seen some of his birthday wishes. It's comical.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And a lot of people that are in this league have already done Flavor Flav for other shit and like Andy Dick. So they're kind of played out.
Another thing that I did this weekend, I popped into Neighborhood Goods.
Yeah.
Have you checked this place out?
No.
Okay. Well, we like talking about the future of retail on this podcast to make an abrupt shift from sports back to the Club Cool sector here. I like what Neighborhood Goods is doing. It's obviously unfortunate that they built this shiny new or went into this shiny new space right in the middle of a global pandemic. But yeah, are you familiar with like the concept of what they're doing?
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice, airy, bright, big windowed, millennial friendly space.
Yeah.
There's a big, nice like marble bar that I think you're going to be able to have like, snacks and apps and drinks at some point. It looks really nice. It looks cool. A lot of space to move around, and they're hosting basically. It's a rotating section a rotating cast of brands,
Mm-hmm.
and it's everything from like bath and beauty and grooming product to sunglasses to like Hill City, the little Gap offshoot that's like all like kind of minimal active gear is in there right now. You have Entire World, the kind of elevated basics brand from the guy that used to do Band of Outsiders in there. Food 52 for like some home goods and cook type stuff. And all of it in these they're little pop-ups basically. They're hosting multiple pop-ups all at the same time, kind of like merchandising it like you would kind of any other kind of trendy boutique.
Mm-hmm.
And it just got me like it's I think it's great from a brand discovery standpoint. It's great for neighborhood goods because they're not committed to these brands. They don't have to buy from these brands over and over again.
If they don't do well,
if they don't do well, they're gone. And
right.
even if they do, you're gone for a while. We bring you back in a little while.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very, I think it's a pretty fresh concept. And when we look forward to kind of a crumbling retail landscape, this feels like one of the types of things that could stick around and maybe continue to have like some impact.
Yeah.
Because it offers, it's always new. You always have different stuff in there, and it's just kind of like it's a new spin on something. And pop-ups are like, people are always into pop-ups.
For sure.
That's always the type of thing that activates people to come out and shop, right?
And they have the ability to just churn out whatever is hot at the moment.
Yeah.
Get them in there immediately.
Yeah.
You know? But I think that from our experience in the past, a lot of the headache with retail is just the massive commitment that you have to make.
Yes.
Not only to inventory, but to capital.
Yep.
And when that stays tied up for a while,
yeah,
with these pre-orders, etc. Not that they don't have to do the pre-orders and all that at Neighborhood Goods, but the commitment is much less.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't even know. I'd be curious. I wonder if they're even buying inventory.
Yeah, right.
Or if it's all essentially on
paying
consignment.
Rent. Are you paying rent? Like if you're these pop-ups?
No, my guess is that there's some give and take. I imagine it's like Neighborhood Goods wants to highlight and feature you in this little pop-up.
Yeah.
And the trade-off is that we're not actually going to pay you for inventory up front. We're going to place the inventory in our store, and we'll pay you for everything that sells, essentially. Right?
Yeah.
That's my guess. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah. And it could be different for the small guys compared to the bigger names that are in there.
Because of the rotating taps, essentially.
Yeah.
I think the point is that Neighborhood Goods doesn't ever have to sit on any inventory.
Mm-hmm.
If Hill City is in there for 8 weeks, at the end of 8 weeks, everything that didn't sell goes back to Hill City is what I expect. And the trade-off for these brands, most of which are kind of up-and-comers looking for the exposure and getting people to discover them, is that they're highlighted in this nice, pretty store.
Totally.
So, anyways, one grooming brand that should be in Neighborhood Goods is Lumen Skin.
Definitely.
Because this is some of the best personal grooming product I've ever tried. In fact, about 10 minutes before I popped up on this podcast, I was just lathering my face in the moisturizing balm. I shaved this morning. I don't know if you can tell. If you're watching on youtube.com/washmedia, maybe you can see that I have a beautifully shaved face. And then after that, of course, I had to go for my Lumen moisturizing balm. Here's the thing. It's easy to kind of forget about this stuff, but you can't do that because if you want your skin to look as good as possible for as long as possible, you need to address it right now, and that is the cold, hard truth. Maybe you don't know where to start. That is where Lumen comes in. That is why Lumen is so perfect. They're on a mission to help give men the amazing skin they deserve through high-quality, expert-created products delivered right to your door. All of their products are formulated specifically for men's skin and made to target skin issues with maximum efficacy, using top-notch ingredients like charcoal, green tea extract, and vitamin C. It's not just about looking good, it's about feeling good. You need good skin health, especially as you get older, to prevent long-term damage. Right now, like I've told you about, I got the moisturizing balm, one of my all-time favorite products. The cleanser is fantastic. I use it I generally have it out on the counter. It's what I wash my face with before I go to bed. That's a very key part of the regime. Lumen helps you get there. I used to not do that. I used to just go to bed dirty face.
Oh, no.
Yeah, not good. It's not good. Don't do that. Use the charcoal cleanser from Lumen Skin before you go to bed. And, there's an exfoliating rub, too, that's really nice. Even if you have no idea where to begin, Lumen makes it so easy to find the right skin management system for you. Choose from different skin concerns to address, or just pick up a simple starter pack for free. You deserve to look and feel your best. Here's where to start. Go to lumenskin.com/clubcool to get a 1-month free trial of everything you need to start your skincare journey at home. That's lumenskin.com/clubcool, LUMIN skin.com/clubcool to get your first month free. The products are great. They look amazing. You will not be disappointed with this stuff. Start treating that face and that skin right. Go to lumenskin.com/clubcool to get that 1-month free trial. Okay, Phil, let's jump in here. Let's talk about a little bit of music. Here's where I want to start. There is a new single out from Phoenix, the band Phoenix, who I generally say is my favorite band.
Yeah.
Yeah. If somebody asks who's your favorite band of all time, Phoenix is my go-to answer.
Okay.
Now that's specifically because of one of their albums, which we'll get to in a second. But they have a new single out. It's called Identical. It's very good. It's one of my favorite Phoenix songs in several years, even though they really haven't put out new music in a few. We talked kind of quickly pre-pod that their last group of songs, their last album was kind of meh.
Yeah, I didn't.
It was okay. This single, Identical, is from an upcoming movie that's releasing on Apple Plus. It is directed by Sofia Coppola, and it stars Bill Murray and Rashida Jones.
It's on Apple Plus?
It's supposed to have a theatrical release as well, but obviously that's in jeopardy at this point.
Yeah.
But this is it. One, the movie is exciting, and Sofia Coppola, I believe, is married to Thomas Mars, the lead singer of Phoenix. I believe I have that right.
That's true.
And Phoenix has not only done this single for the film, but they also scored the film and they put together the soundtrack. So just all in all, I'm looking forward to the film in October. Mm-hmm. I'm a sucker for movies with awesome soundtracks.
Yeah,
it's not a coincidence that Dazed and Confused, usually my go-to answer for favorite movie of all time, has one of the best soundtracks of all time.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So it just got me thinking. So as I mentioned, the album, Phoenix album, Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix. This is a 2009 album, I believe. I went and saw their show that year 3 different times. Mm-hmm. And it is one of 2 albums that I would listen to every single year.
Yeah.
The other is Kanye, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, mm-hmm. which is currently experiencing
in real time
diminishing returns. But it'll bounce back, and you know.
Well,
he just needs to cool off for a second. Still one of my favorite albums ever. Those two albums are pretty much the only 2 that I can say with certainty that I listen to probably once a year. Are there any? Do you have anything like that you've gone back to recently? Or
I do a lot of revisiting.
Yeah,
a lot.
Okay,
and I'll wear stuff out. So, let me just. I have Spotify pulled up here. Let's see what I've been listening to. Oasis, live, their live album, incredible.
Is there anything though that you like that you can say I probably listen to this album once a year, or is there a lot of stuff like
There's
that?
a lot.
Too many to name.
Yeah.
Are you a vinyl guy? Have we talked about this?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all put on vinyl?
We do.
That definitely. I feel like vinyl collectors, people that listen to albums like that, your collections are generally not expansive, or you have a set number of choices there. You're not just plugging in Spotify and having 10 billion songs at your disposal.
You're committing.
So that lends itself more towards listening to the same albums.
Yeah, and with the vinyl, I'm not putting on, for instance, I have on here Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. I listen to a lot of them. Mm-hmm. I'm not putting that on vinyl at home while we're getting ready for dinner. It's a little much.
Okay.
We want more of a mood setting background music for the vinyl. We do a lot of soundtracks actually.
Okay.
For vinyl. Anyway,
little Frank Sinatra on vinyl.
We have some. Tame Impala. I've been listening to a shit load of that. The Chicks. The Chicks' new album goes hard.
Oh yeah.
Formerly
the Dixie Chicks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also Metric. You know I like Metric.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's quite a few. I go all over the place. I don't really listen to as of late a lot of hip hop. It's just not in my rotation right now.
Yeah. The thing with hip hop is it's very. I think it becomes very clear in your 30s that hip hop especially is very much like the musical genre of the youth.
Mm-hmm.
And as such, that's who it appeals to most and who it's made for. And as it changes, you get further and further removed from the hip hop of your youth, and it's like I think everybody kind of digs into the hip hop that they grew up with, that they went through their formative years with, and then that they really enjoyed that type of music through high school, through college, through those mid to late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because I definitely feel that there's some new hip hop that I really really like, but I definitely find myself like when Drake releases new music, I'm like, fuck yeah, that I like that. When Lil Uzi Vert releases new music, I'm like scratching my head.
I don't like that.
Wondering what this is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like, I think that's just part of the aging process is
For
that
sure.
you don't totally understand hip hop like you used to.
Number one hip hop album that you listened to as a adolescent.
Oh man. Like
They just off the top of your head, who is it? Like, this is who I was listening to. This song, this album.
I mean, a couple stand out. The album that I probably listened to more than any other in high school was Mike Jones and Magnificent, first round draft picks.
We listened to a lot of Fat Pat and Big Mo in high school.
Yeah.
But before that,
Screwed Up Click.
I didn't listen to a lot of Screw.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, see, we were more on the Swishahouse side than the SUC. But and then the other one that comes to mind was Ludacris was huge.
Yeah.
We played the shit out of Chicken and Beer and Red Light District, those two albums.
See, the one that comes to mind for me is Doggy Style, Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
That was it, dude. We wore that shit out.
Was that
93.
So what do you mean you wore that shit out?
Wore it out.
What, were you 9 years old?
10. Yeah.
And you were
had to sneak it.
You were bumping Doggy Style by Snoop Dogg?
Yes. We would go rollerblading
in 3rd or 4th grade?
Was that? No, in 4th grade. Yeah. We'd go rollerblading, and a friend of mine's big brother had access to these things. So we would get it from him. Oh, yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay, here are the ones from when I was that age that stand out to me.
Oh, this is great, dude.
The Fugees album.
Uh-huh. The Fugees, yes.
And then a couple of songs, Freak Nasty, Da Dip.
That reminds me of like
And then
dances.
when I was even younger, like probably 7, Tag Team, Hoomp There It Is.
Yeah. Well, The Chronic was 92 and we listened to that. But, I don't think we're listening to these as they're dropping.
Right. No, you're not on, like, the bleeding edge of hip-hop.
No.
Being like, man, you heard that?
Beaumont, Texas really didn't, command a lot from the drops. No, when they made it to us, I bet you we were in 5th grade. But still.
Sure.
Still, we were going hard, Barrett.
Yeah. But, I mean, that all speaks to, like, who in our age group doesn't still love putting on that 90s and all the way to early 2000s hip-hop.
Yeah.
Everything from like the early Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg stuff to the Nelly and Ludacris pop jams.
Nelly.
Country Grammar.
Yeah.
What's Your Fantasy?
Yeah.
EI.
Oh, when was that?
Like
that was so good.
Like that stuff really really sticks. So the Zoomers now, like they're gonna be in their 30s and they're gonna be like, man, that Lil Uzi Vert.
Country Grammar.
That Lil Pump. That went.
Country Grammar is 2000.
Yeah.
All right.
All this to say, one, I wanted to talk about like just kind of favorite albums. Do you have a favorite album? If you, off the top of your head, favorite album? Desert Island vinyl. What do you?
Oh
what
God,
do you,
I don't know, dude.
know?
That's too big of a
Too hard?
question. That's too hard. Because I'm very, very guilty of whatever mood I'm in is what I would go to a desert island right now.
Okay.
It might be the Beatles' White Album, but not currently. That's
Yeah.
just something that comes to my head.
Yeah.
That's not something I'd want to listen to cover right now.
Well, we need to do. We did a Club Cool playlist on Spotify 1.0 probably about a year ago.
Yeah.
So it's about time for 2.0. And we've got a lot of stuff that we've talked about right here and now that's absolutely going to go on it. I also wanted to. I'm a big EDM guy. I still really do like EDM, new and pretty much everything from Avicii, Swedish House Mafia onward, even a lot of the newer stuff now. I still like. I'm a big Sirius XM radio guy too. Probably my most listened to station is BPM. And it hits different right now because all those songs, they're so soaring and kind of, exuberant. They're supposed to like make you feel good, right? And make you feel like kind of like that joyous, that feeling of like going out, seeing friends, like dancing, like doing all that type of stuff. And because all of that stuff is essentially impossible at the moment and for the foreseeable future, I like listening to it, but it's almost like listening to country where it just like it makes me sad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's been an interesting twist. I will have just a fun ass EDM song on going to the grocery store, and it gives me like a wave of depression because that type of thing. I associate it so much with like the good times of being with friends, and like going out and doing things
at Tomorrowland.
Yes.
Have you ever been to one of these things?
No, not one of the. No, not one of the. No.
You're not an EDM boy to where you're getting dressed up and going to.
I once went to when I was like 25. I went to. I want to say it was called IDC. It was in Houston. It was at the Woodlands Pavilion. There were like 3 or 4 stages.
Did you take some drugs?
No. I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh, that's an indirect answer.
I think we were just drinking, but who knows?
Cool.
That was the furthest I ever went into like a full on, like I've never been to Electric Daisy or Tomorrow. Dude, that one, I don't know what year it was from. I want to say like 2011, 2012. There's one kind of like recap video of Tomorrowland in where is it called? It's like in Bang. It's in Bang, Sweden or something like that.
Sounds right.
It's like watching that video. It like feels like doing ecstasy. Like it is so. It gives me chills. You watch that video and I'm like, I want to go to Tomorrowland more than anything I've ever wanted to do in my entire life.
I would love that for you. I'd love that for you.
Randy knows what I'm talking about. He's over there smiling.
Yeah. You've been?
You know how many times in college we watched that?
Yeah.
Everyone had the same.
Yes. Yeah. Like it is, dude. It's just it's.
I've watched a documentary on it, and it seems
you think of like these hedonistic pursuits, right?
Yes.
And and a lot of it ends up looking bad. Like you look at like nudist colonies and these kind of these weird things that end up on like HBO Real Sex, right? Stuff that you think sounds like, oh, that sounds erotic and exotic and cool and fun. And then you see the videos of it and you're like, oh God, no, I want no part of this, right? Tomorrowland like looks like you think it looks. Like it looks like paradise. Like it looks perfect.
Yeah.
It you know what it was the predecessor to? Tomorrowland was essentially like you know how like everybody goes to Burning Man now for the gram?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's phones and pictures now and like babes are just going to get these like wild ass fits off at Burning Man. And that's the point of it now.
Yes. Kind of like Coachella.
Right. Burning Man, it became more Coachella, more Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
But Tomorrowland kind of had that piece of Burning Man that kind of hedonistic,
Yeah.
like wild, here's where you go to fulfill all your wildest dreams and fantasies and just like let the music take you over. but it it put that out there. Whereas Burning Man has always been more kind of insular about that type of thing. Like
it's in
keep they want to keep it in.
It's in boom.
Boom, not bang. Yes. Boom. Thank you.
Wow. The coolest thing to me about Tomorrowland is the stages. The way that they create those stages, that's incredible.
But everything that we're talking about here, like this is why it's not difficult to listen to EDM, but like I hear these songs and they all that's where my mind goes basically.
Yeah.
It's Tomorrowland.
That's where you'd like to live right now in one of these little UFOs above the stage.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't?
Right.
Yeah. So, any other music thoughts for us here, Phil? Any other like big stuff that's influencing you right now, or that you've had in heavy rotation, or that you listen to differently?
We listen to a lot of just easy listening stuff. Bossa Nova. I think Will's a big Bossa Nova guy.
Yeah.
You ever give that a try?
Nah.
A little too slow for you.
Probably.
Yeah, not enough beats per minute.
BPM boys in the building.
No, nothing really big happening for me in music. No, but
Okay.
I mean, I'm looking forward to putting together some
2.0.
Yeah, I
some
need to
Club
get
Cool
some thoughts
playlist
together.
2.0.
Uh-huh.
I think it's going to be bigger and better than ever.
Well, for sure.
All right. The last time that we had this type of conversation, I think we were both a little bit more focused with our current listens.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm picturing this playlist, and it's going to have the Chicks, it's going to have some EDM, it's going to have some 90s and 2000s rap, it's going to have a little bit of Phoenix. This is going to be truly an eclectic and banging playlist. So
It will be.
Stay tuned to Club Cool Pod on Instagram at Club Cool Pod. We will, when we have it ready, we'll post up the Spotify link there. We will, of course, also post it on the Discord. How do you get into the Discord? Go follow us on patreon.com/clubcool. I will refresh that Discord link at some point today or maybe tomorrow. You guys can get in there. There's been a lot of good shit going on in the Discord, man. The kits keep coming in the Rate My Kit category. The Phil's Cocktail Corner, probably the most active channel. I think we're even going to do like a beer share.
Nice.
We got one of our listeners, one of our Discord members is organizing a beer share.
Okay.
So I wanted to put that out there so we can get more people involved and make it something kind of cool. I've never done something like this, so I'm gonna let our guy in there kind of orchestrate and direct it. But that'll be cool. And let's see. Also on Patreon, I put out my picks for the Nordstrom anniversary sale. That went out last week to our patrons. And then this week you'll still get our regularly scheduled programming with our editorial of our favorite shiz on the internet right now. So look for that this week. All of that at patreon.com/clubcool and in the Discord. Man, I'd be posting more kits. I'll throw up some kits, but it's August. It's t-shirts and shorts, man.
Yeah.
It's how creative can I get with that? Not very. But as I mentioned up top, we're here. The fall winter drops are beginning this week, and I wanted to talk about a couple of them in particular. First, I would be remiss to not mention that Howler Brothers Fall Winter 20 is coming out this week.
Little shameless plug there. From
Shameless
your boy.
plug, but there's some very legit stuff that I want to talk about here because a few heaters that I am very much looking forward to. So
Okay.
I wanted to put them out there. You can look. This stuff is not available to view right now. It's clandestine shit. This is classified information. Some of it, much like Magnum, I probably shouldn't even be talking about right now. But I'm gonna leak a few deets,
Okay.
and then when this stuff drops later this week, you can come back. You'll remember what I said. These are my picks. And also, if you've never purchased from Howler Brothers or if you've never signed up for the email list, I think they're doing 10% off if you sign up for the email list. So trick of the trade to know about. Okay. This might be our best hat collection yet.
Ooh.
You've always talked about how Howler hats
I think that's the strongest.
one of the strongest things that we do.
Categories.
One of the strongest things that we do. I'm like looking through fall 20, and there's like usually there's like 2 that I like have to have. I think there's like 4 this season. We got
Double.
a wax canvas number coming.
Really?
Kind of an off-white creamy rope hat as well.
Love that.
So there's some fire there. And then we do what's called our Spellbinder parka. It's our hooded down jacket.
Mm-hmm.
It debuted last fall in some very Howlerific colors, kind of like a mustardy yellow and our kind of bright orange.
Mm-hmm.
This year we have it in colors that I think are a little bit more universally wearable, which I'm very much looking forward to. Specifically, there is a full-on olive green.
Nice.
Just everything's olive green, even the patch, the cuffs, the hood, like everything.
This is the parka?
This is the parka. And then there's a teal one, which is probably my favorite.
Okay.
Black yoke, black chest panels, and then like this just like super dope blue teal, which is hot. All right, and then there's a new product. It is a grid fleece shirt jacket. It's called a Vapors fleece. It's coming in black, and it's coming in like a terracotta red. Probably the garment that I'm most excited for. The single garment that I'm most excited for. It's like it's kind of like it's functional, right? It's warm, it's fleece, but it's also like pushing Howler into this. It's one of the garments where we've kind of like pushed this a very like forward, stylish piece, and so that's I'm really looking forward to that. And then of course we do a lot of embroidery and Western shirts.
Yes,
this is kind of like our bread and butter. So we do one called a crosscut, which has like the double snap pockets, and oftentimes features embroidery. One of our kind of recurring themes through this collection is our desert trip print. Stars, desert, kind of skulls, and then there's like little UFOs kind of hidden throughout.
I like that.
So like across the back embroidered is like this kind of deserty landscape.
Oh, like.
And there's a little UFO twinkling up there in the corner, embroidered.
Huh.
This thing will
Is
sell.
this like Fort Lonesome style, like a big patch across the back?
Yeah. Now it's not as detailed, and it's obviously not chain stitched, and it's not as like. There's more open space.
Yeah.
The Fort Lonesome stuff is very much like a tapestry, and this is more like kind of like the negative space is filled in by the shirt fabric instead of by more
that'll be a hot
chain
item.
stitching and embroidery. It is. People have already. Some of our retailers have it already, and people have been going into our South Congress shop asking for it.
Yeah.
It's a hot item. If you like it, it will sell out. I would jump on it. Then another. Our hottest product last fall was our release of denim shirts. We're redoing the light wash denim that sold out in a few days last year, and we're adding a black wash, which is very cool. For as far as fit, not going to be like a slim fit, like double RL type thing. So you're going to get a little bit more room in these things. I would still probably go true to size. Just know that it's you'll have it's not going to strangle you. So if you like a kind of more relaxed fit, kind of goes with what everybody's doing right now anyways, then true to size. If you want it to be trimmer, you could possibly size down. And then I mentioned that black wash shirt. All I'll say is you just mentioned a company that we have a collaboration with coming out in a couple months. Very, very, very cool pieces.
Yeah. Interesting.
I won't name them again. You'll have to go 15, 30 seconds back. But
hit that back button.
Hit that back button. But that's a little tease.
What kind of stuff are we talking? Headwear or
headwear?
Ooh.
Short sleeve shirt.
Yeah.
And a custom embroidered version of a black denim as well.
Did you get your order in?
Not yet actually. I don't know if we're gonna be so lucky to get an employee order on that little doodad right there. It's gonna be a hot ticket.
It's huge.
Yeah. If we don't, I'm gonna pay full price for it because it's killer. All right, so stay tuned for Howler this week. Very, very excited about the fall 20 stuff. It looks awesome, and any questions about it? feel free to get at me on the Grom or jump in the Discord, and we can have a full-on chat with a bunch of other listeners as well. Okay. Another very, very hot drop this week. I think it's dropping this week. A teaser video dropped today. I expect a lookbook tomorrow, and I expect drop one on Thursday. That's typically how these things go. But Aimé Leon Dore Fall 20 is about to release, and the only thing that we've seen is the teaser Instagram video from today. So it's a good teaser video.
Yeah, it's
because
great.
it's a lot of there's a few things to talk about here. Did you have any initial thoughts after first view?
It's cool. I mean, it's definitely a shift from what they've done in the past with the big loud colors, right?
So I think that's pretty noticeable.
Yeah.
And their fall winter palette is usually more toned down, but they always reference 90s like prep, like Nautica, Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger type stuff. And especially the early to mid 90s, that really lends itself. That focus is more on like the loud kind of nautical looking color blocking, brighter colors, brighter color palettes. We see it a ton from Aimé's spring stuff always. And then it's usually more reflected in their fall winter too. What we get in this video is like way more earth tones, very toned down color palette, a lot of browns, a lot of tans, darker colors. There's not a lot of, I feel like the brightest thing that I see in this video is the kind of the blue, kind of Picasso dunk sweater thing.
With the graphic on
the
it.
graphic,
Yeah.
the graphic sweater.
Mm-hmm.
And even that is like a dustier blue.
Yeah.
It's so,
Right.
so we're getting, it's more subdued. So that was definitely noticeable from this video. The other thing, it just all like, Teddy is such a New York guy, and this is such a New York brand, and that always comes through.
Big time.
But this video
Big
is
time.
so New York.
Yeah, they're throwing dominoes. That dude has a bunch of cash he's rolling out.
Yes.
The dude's doing push-ups in the Knicks jersey.
And the Knicks jersey. You're getting
It's
some
great.
of that. Yeah, not only are you getting like a huge mix of what you see, New York, it's one of our biggest melting pots, obviously. So you get ton of different ethnicities and races. You get the guy with the slick back hair and the tattoos, the dude in the Knicks jersey.
It's a really cool video.
It's a very cool video. A lot of these people are either like, I think, kind of somewhat famous New Yorkers or kind of low-key celebs.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Asian woman, I think that's a kind of a famous jeweler. I think she's a kind of a popular New York jeweler. There is Taco from Odd Future and now stars in the TV show Dave. Is in there. He's the guy with wearing the Chicago Jordan 1s. A fellow podcaster is also featured in this. A guy named Larry or Lawrence from the podcast Throwing Fits.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the most popular men's fashion podcast out there. They've just had an absolute crazy run. Been featured in all sorts of write-ups from like New York Magazine, and this is quite a big. I'm not gonna lie. This is awesome. I'm very very envious that Larry gets to pop up in the Aimé teaser video.
I'm sure your invitation probably got lost in the mail or something.
Well, their podcast is somewhere between 3x and 3000x this podcast. So we're on our way. But certainly, I also wanted to mention that because I've DM'd with several of you guys out there, and we've kind of had this conversation. It's impossible to not be aware of the Throwing Fits podcast because of what we do. So it's on my radar. I follow Larry on Instagram. I think he's got some pretty good style. As I've mentioned before, I'm just never going to be like a nylon shorts with fancy loafers guy, and he's kind of the leader of that movement.
Are they based in New York?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, then
yes.
that's very, I guess, New York. I don't know. That's the only time I've ever seen it is on stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It does feel there's something that is kind of New York about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I am aware, and I follow him. I have never listened to the podcast, and I don't follow the podcast account specifically because, and this is like designers talking about how they kind of have to put blinders on sometimes so that they're not consciously or subconsciously influenced by what else is out there. Just recently on the 18 East Style Forum channel, the creative director designer of 18 East, Antonio, talked about how he had to stop following a brand called Story Manufacturing because there was suddenly like weird crossover and overlap, and it's just like he couldn't have it in his brain.
That's a good move.
And that is the way that I have treated the Throwing Fits podcast. I've never listened to it because I don't want it to influence what we do here. So I'm well aware that there is some brand talk overlap. Obviously, those guys are Aimé fans. I know that Larry pops up in 18 East stuff as well. But yeah, I try not to pay too close attention because I don't want it to I don't want us to bite what they're doing over there, and I hope that we bring something a little bit different to the table. But to continue on this Aimé talk, we mentioned it's very New York. We mentioned the earthier color tones. I mentioned that it's it feels. I was thinking about like the Ralph Lauren. You know when Rachel starts working for Ralph Lauren in Friends. That's towards like the back half of that of the series. So we're into like the 97, 98, 99 timeframe there. This stuff is reminding me of Friends in its last few seasons, which is also interesting.
Oversized,
but yeah, like a little oversized, like some bigger, just some. It's got that kind of like looseness of late 90s Ralph Lauren. Then I watched it again, and on my third view, another thing hit me. And I think this is good. But watch this back and tell me that you're not reminded of like 2014 J. Crew.
For sure.
Like liquor store J. Crew.
Absolutely.
The black watch plaid.
Yeah.
The tailoring. The big coats. Like the overcoats.
I'm watching it right now.
The cardigans. Chunky knit sweaters. Like this feels very much.
J. Crew sold a lot of New Balance too.
Exactly. Yes. And Teddy has the relationship with New Balance, so they're all in on the New Balance collaborations. And yeah, J. Crew carried New Balance and pushed the hell out of New Balance in that liquor store heyday.
Right.
That was a big deal.
A lot of cardigans in here.
And so I just watched this back and I was like, man, they're really like, this is some Mickey Drexler, Todd Snyder, J. Crew shit. And the spin here is it's like the J. Crew liquor store if everybody involved with J. Crew was also really into basketball and loved Jordans. Like that's the twist.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit it's pushed further north on Manhattan, right? It's like a little bit more. It still has some of its Harlem element, its Harlem vibe, but it's very much reminiscent of the kind of sharper tailoring and very wearable, like traditional prep stuff, but pushed into those late 90s Ralph Lauren earthier color tones.
Totally.
So obviously it'll be hard to make a full judgment on it until we see the lookbook.
Yeah.
Which again I expect in sometime this week. But certainly it's a really cool video. It features a bunch of cool people, and that these guys are Teddy keeps killing it over there, man. It's
great stuff.
He's as I've said it many times on this podcast, but this dude has a vision and he executes it in an extremely cohesive way. Nothing is ever out of place with this guy's stuff.
What kills me though is like looking at all this, it's all so dope, but most of it you can't wear in this climate down here.
So that's where I was going to go next. Is there's obviously a lot of winter stuff, and this is we've mentioned this with plenty of fall winter collections. That a lot of the most attractive pieces, the ones you're most drawn to, are ones that you would literally get to wear one time. Taking that a step further, you're now going to go a lot fewer places this fall winter. So that one, maybe 2 times that you could have worn that big Black Watch plaid top coat, now that's been reduced to like probably 0 times. So pros and cons here. Pro, you don't have to spend the money on those things. Don't even just forget it. So you can put your money into the other stuff that's a little bit more multi-seasonal or wearable. You don't even have to be tempted by the $1,200 coat, right? So, but yeah, the fall winter is always about layering. The pieces are always, more plush and more luxe, and that is difficult here in Texas to begin with. And now it's really just like I don't, it will be, the thing about summer stuff is that I'm still wearing shorts and t-shirts.
Yeah.
And I was going to be doing that regardless of what I was or wasn't able to do. So with the fall winter, it's like, man, if I'm still just totally stuck at home, it's going to be like hoodies and
Well, I like a lot of the bottoms. A lot of the pants are cool.
Yeah.
You can go that route.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of them
Totally.
are different.
I agree. Very much looking forward to seeing it all laid out.
But you're not going all in on the puffer.
No puffers. No. I'm gonna pick up my Howler puffer and call it a day.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I'll pass on the down stuff from Woolrich from Aimé this year. Okay, let's quickly just touch before we head out here on the Noah Adidas collaboration. I'm not so hot on this one.
No. It's terrible.
And mostly what I wanted to just speak quickly about it. These brands, when they do these collaborations, it's not enough to just put your 2 logos together and expect that that's going to sell something. This reminds me of like the Kith Coca-Cola stuff.
Yeah.
I have so little interest
None.
in Kith taking a Coca-Cola logo and slapping it on one of their garments and then being like, haha, look what we did.
Yeah.
It's totally uninteresting.
Yeah, dude, I don't.
And that's kind of what I feel here. The shoes, I don't know why they picked the silhouettes they did, but they're not interesting to me. And then the apparel especially, they took a Noah graphic, they put an Adidas logo under it, literally just an Adidas typeface under the shell graphic. And that's what they're going to be like,
Check it out. That's like what Palace did too with some of the Adidas stuff.
Yeah. And that's, I've thought, you think about more recent stuff, like at least with something kind of obscure like John Elliott and Cat, right? They like tried to pull some of the Cat ethos. They pulled in some camo. They did some jackets and some shorts that were a little bit more like workwear.
Yeah.
That had some techie reflective fabric, that type of thing. Functional it was an attempt to make it more than just here's a Cat logo on a John Elliott hoodie.
Yeah.
They did that as well. But it was more fleshed out. And I mean that wasn't a great one either. It was just what came to me off the top of my head. But I'm kind of tired of 2 brands getting together and being like, "Hey, you know what would be cool? Our brand, your brand, let's just put them on the same garment."
They'll love it. Limit the production.
Yeah. Yeah. There's even some like Our Legacy and Stussy stuff. I like both of those brands a whole lot. But I don't care that the t-shirt has both of your brands on it.
It's like they knew this deadline was coming up and they were like, "Oh fuck.
There's nothing.
We didn't come up with anything. Just put the logos together."
I'll just take a Stussy tee or an Our Legacy tee or an Our Legacy garment. Right. Like I don't know. I'm just the collabs. I would leave it to the sneaker brands. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
This one's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, absolutely. This is and sadly, this is like the first big drop from Noah for their fall winter collection. They're launching with this. Maybe there was more to it. Maybe the pandemic got in the way. Maybe there was supposed to be some other things, and now they're kind of left with this fizzle. But yeah, I don't know. Underwhelmed. I'm underwhelmed. But
okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's about all the time that we have for today. Obviously, as you can see, the fall winter stuff, it's here, it's near. we will continue to talk more about other cool stuff that we see coming down the pipe. Go check out lumenskin.com/clubcool for some of the best skincare products I've ever used. You can support the podcast as well by checking us out on patreon.com/clubcool. Go become a patron, support the podcast directly. And Phil, you got anything else for us today? Any final comments, final words?
No. Be nice to each other.
Yeah. Club
That's
Cool Playlist 2.0 coming this week as well. Yeah?
I'll get on that.
Right on. All right. We will be back. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you.